All right, troops, welcome back to the Action League. My name is Owen. It's been a long time since our last show. In fact, I believe it was December, I think, the year in
Wow.
action. So,
Yes.
yeah, it was, yeah. So we decided, you know what, it's time for a comeback. So me and G-Man are here tonight, and we're going to talk about the Van Damme classic Double Team from 1997. So how are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. This is exciting. Anytime there's Van Damme talk, man, that's my boy. I base my life on Van Damme. So we did his accent. As soon as he got an earring in Hard Target, I'm like, oh, getting an earring. He had the mullet. I was like, I'm getting the mullet. Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the Double Team, I think, was one of the last movies he got released in the theater back in 1997. It was actually, I think, this week. It was like April 4th or something, 1997. And I remember seeing it in the cinema back in the day with my brother Greg. He would always take me to see the Van Damme movies. Either Greg
awesome.
or my dad would take me to see the Van Damme movies.
Right.
And this was one of the last ones. And like, yeah, it's not top tier Van Damme, but it's still just a lot of fun. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to put you over to Jay in a second, and we've got this whole sort of new system which you may not know about. If you've been on Jay's channel before, you'll know,
Right.
but if from here this will be new. So actually, I'll just put you over right now if you want to explain how
Sure.
we're going to do this.
Yeah. Okay. So the technique that I use for this is for reviewing movies. It's called SPACE. SPACE. Each one of those letters is a category. So S is the story, P is the pacing, A is the artistry, C is the characters, and E is for enjoyment. The way it works is that you're looking to get a score out of 10 when you're done. So each category, because there's five, each category gets a score out of 2. So if we're talking about the storyline, we would say the storyline is either a 0 for below average, 1 for average, and 2 for above average. And you can do decimals, like you could say zero point 0.5 or 1.5. And so if you think the story is perfect, there's no flaws, it gets a 2 out of 2. And that's how you do it for each category. And then at the end, if everything gets a 2 out of 2, you have a 10 out of 10 movie. Story means the story of the movie, that's obvious. The pacing, it doesn't have to be fast or a short movie. It means, does the pacing service the story and the movie? So if it's an action film like Die Hard, is there constantly a threat? Is there a lot of like tension and you're like, wow, what's going to happen next? Or if it's a drama, is the pacing long enough for you to get to know the characters and to feel, that you're part of this world, or whatever it is. So Avatar might need to be a little longer than a JCVD movie, right? Because you're building a world and stuff like that. The artistry would include anything like, obviously, effects, but not just that. It would be the film, the way it looks, some cool shots, angles, the fight sequences in a JCVD movie, the music, score, that kind of a thing. Even the costuming would count, right? Like if you think, like let's say Lord of the Rings has fantastic, obviously cinematography, but the costumes are good too. The music is fantastic. It's not just, oh, it looks cool, right? The characters, that's obvious. Do you like the characters? Are the bad guys good bad guys? Are the heroes good heroes? Can you get behind the bad or the heroes? Do you hate the bad guys? So that's for the characters. And then the E for enjoyment, that is where it's intangible, because you might say, I don't like the story, it's a little long, but you know what? I really like this movie. So this is where you can adjust your score at the very end, because you do the four categories, and let's say you're at like you give each category a 1. Maybe the story was average, the pacing was average, the artistry was average, the characters were okay. So all of a sudden you're at 4 out of 10, but you've got that enjoyment left where you could say, you know what? I'm going to give it a 2 out of 2 because I really enjoy watching it. So by that measure, a movie that gets a 1 in every category means exactly what it means. It's an average movie. So to me, if I give a movie a 5 out of 10, that's not saying it's garbage. That's saying it's an enjoyable movie, nothing more, nothing less. So most movies, really, if they have any kind of value at all, are going to be between 4 and 6, right? Because you've got that enjoyment factor where you might take a, might not give it full marks. So a 4 out of 10 still means, yeah, it's okay. 3 and lower, that's where it's like, this movie wasn't that great. And if you start getting into 7, 8, 9, like, whoa, like then you're getting into like, you know, Back to the Future or something,
Mhm.
where it's like there's nothing wrong with this movie. Like it is so perfect. Like everything works. There are 10 out of 10 movies, and I'm not afraid to say a movie's 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, see?
Right? I know some people are. It's all nothing can be perfect. I hate when it's like someone would do like something weird, like 9.75 or some
Mhm.
weird. I've seen people do weird review. Like, look, 9.5, I'll take. You can do halves, not
Mhm.
0.75s.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
It just gets too weird, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you before we got into the full on review. So we talked before the stream started. You saw Universal Soldier first in the theater. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was my first Van Damme movie in the theater. Now, my cousin
Wow.
Patrick introduced me to Van Damme movies. He had all the VHS tapes, and he had Kickboxer, Death Warrant, Bloodsport, and then we rented Double Impact when it came out. Chad and Alex. I mean, I don't get better
That's
than that.
I mean that's Alex is like the second, maybe the best. Sean Boudreau and Alex are like
Yeah, I'd agree.
the
They're my
two
two
best.
favorites. Everybody
The
wants
two.
to be Alex because his hair is so perfect with the slick back hair. I was like, why can't I be that cool?
I was gonna do that here for today. I was like, but I'm not as cool, so I'm like, forget about it. No point.
Yeah, but so yeah, I remember seeing Universal Soldier in the cinema and loving that. That's still one of my favorite Van Damme movies. I think at some point we should do a retrospective of the Universal Soldier franchise and do all that. At some point
Yeah.
that'd be fun. We'll get maybe Steve and the guys on. But yeah, I remember seeing Unisol, and then I saw Nowhere to Run, and Hard Target, and Sudden Death, and then Double Team and Maximum Risk as well. I saw all of them in the big screen, and they were all
Yeah.
great. So, did you see all of these in the theater as well?
I missed Hard Target because it was on very limited screens here or
Really?
something. But I didn't see Unisol. But from Nowhere to Run and then on, I saw everything except for Hard Target. And Double Team, I think, was the second last one before JCVD,
Mm,
or Expendables 2, if you count that. But,
yeah.
you know, that's just like a guest appearance. But Knockoff was the last one, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it's over. And not only would I see everything in the theater, I would get the poster for whatever movie was out. So I had Nowhere to Run up. Then when Nowhere to Run was down, I think I had them all. Like literally Nowhere to Run, Maximum Risk, Sudden Death, Double Team, Knockoff, Hard Target, Time Cop. What was it? I literally had all these posters. Double Team's the only one that didn't get destroyed.
Mm,
Hard Target, I think I might still have, but yeah, Double Team. I'm sorry, Double Impact. Sorry,
mm.
Double Impact. Double Impact is like perfect condition. I never put that one up because
To damage it.
I
Yeah.
didn't want to damage it because I would just put it with tape, you know, and it was like,
That's basically what I do. Yeah.
yeah, I like, well, now I buy the original posters at the movie poster warehouse,
Hmm.
which cost like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 depending on what you get,
Hmm.
and they're original, so I keep them as collectible items. But yeah, oh, seeing all that stuff in the theater was just great. And then I remember after Knockoff, I'm like, when's the next Van Damme movie? And it was like Desert Heat or something, and I'm
I
like,
know, yeah, and that went straight to
that was
it
so
was straight on
or
to
Legionnaire,
Sky Movies and Legionnaire. Yeah,
yeah,
I quite liked Legionnaire. It was quite different for Van Damme. I mean, it
I liked it.
wasn't a great movie, but I thought it had its moments, and I liked that he tried something different. Um, but yeah, I do miss seeing Van Damme movies in the theater. I mean, I think the last thing I saw in the theater this year was Batman. I don't even know what the next thing is I'm going to go see. I'm just not that interested in any of
I
them.
saw
So
Morbius, which got a 6 out of 10 by my rating.
yeah.
And I've got my tickets for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm looking forward to that. That one I will see. Hopefully, I'll get a press screening. We'll see. But yeah, and I know because I haven't been going to the cinema much recently, just out of sheer laziness. So I've been having my henchmen go do it instead. Um, so Kent Church went to see Ambulance and saw that and did a review for today. And then, by the way, Kent, you're getting a lot of abuse in the Facebook group, so go in and defend yourself.
Uh-oh. Well, he liked it? Sorry,
He,
he
he,
liked
he
it?
gave it 3 stars, which I thought was fine. But everyone's like, that's too low rating. It's amazing. And I was like, really? Because even Michael Bay didn't like the film. So,
I mean, Michael Bay. I mean, it is worth seeing Michael Bay movies in the theater. I
yeah.
mean, the story is never going to get ranked high. Michael Bay movies are never going to get more than like a 6 because the stories are really usually not that great,
Yeah.
and the
Except for The
characters are
Rock,
usually.
which is his
The Rock
masterpiece. Yeah.
that's the best Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
I
Followed by
think
13
still.
Hours. Yeah.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, it's really, really good. It's
Oh,
an
maybe I
excellent
will
movie.
check that out
Yeah.
then. But The Rock is like like usually there's directors where you're like, there's a few good ones, like James
Mm.
Cameron, which is the best. I don't know. There's a lot of contenders, but like it's obviously The Rock. Everyone says it's The Rock. Everyone knows it's The Rock.
Yeah, it's just a fact.
It's just a fact. It's not even like there's no, nobody's going, oh, Transformers 4 is the, but like, yeah, okay, you
Yeah.
know.
No.
Not new.
So back to Double Team. I picked this up a
Oh,
while ago, and I'm
awesome.
sure all you '90s kids will see this. But the I Love the '90s Blu-ray from Walmart, it's finest. But it's sort of done like an old VHS tape. You
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
there.
it looks like it's like a VHS tape
Yeah,
coming out.
and it says to play is human. To play is human. To rewind is divine, which I love. So yeah, so we'll talk about Double Team and
Yep.
do space. Now, the story, I'm just going to read out the very brief synopsis which we
Sure,
have on the
yeah.
back of the Blu-ray, and then I'll go over to you. So Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dennis Rodman team up as a world-class counter-terrorist and his flamboyant but deadly weapons dealer in this explosive action-adventure thriller. So
Wow.
there we go.
Okay, so the way that this also works is that we're trying to compare the movie with itself and genre movies that are similar. We're not ranking against each other. We're ranking against itself. So
Mm-hmm.
if I say the story of this, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 2, and I'll explain myself. The reason I'm giving it slightly above average in the story department is that movies of this type are usually 1 out of 2, which is like their average. The reason this went above average because I liked the idea of the colony. It was kind of like the Prisoner
Yeah,
television
it's a remake
series.
of The Prisoner. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of thought this was really neat because I didn't see that coming. Like it starts off pretty standard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's action and whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, Van Damme didn't catch Mickey Rourke. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then it's like, oh shit, where is he? He's in this island
Mm-hmm.
now, and he's got all these ex agents are there. I'm like, this is cool. And then they're using them as a think tank. And I thought, you know what? This is someone, Troy Hart director. This is somebody who's thought a little bit more into it. They're not just delivering the standard action, which is just, oh, Van Damme needs to get revenge on this guy, or this guy hates Van Damme
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to hurt his wife, which is of course there, and that is very average. But this to me went a little bit above average only because they added that extra layer of now it's like he's got to escape from this prison thing to go stop the guy. I thought that was neat. So again, if we're looking at movies on their own, we're not saying, because Lawrence of Arabia or Back to the Future is a 2 out of 2 for a
Mm-hmm.
story, but we're not saying that Double Team is almost as good as Back to the Future in the story department. We're just saying that as action movies go, in this genre, JCVD, this is a slightly above average story. For me, it didn't get the 2 out of 2 because I don't think it went that far, but
Mm-hmm.
it's better than average. So I gave it a 1.5.
Yeah. I was going to give it a 1, but you kind of convinced me to go for 1.5 now.
No, but even if you went with 1, you see it's very like, yeah, like,
I'll go with 1, right? Just
yeah,
to be different, just to be a dick. I'm going to
yeah,
go. I'll just give it a 1. But I liked it because I didn't hate Stavros, Mickey Rourke's character, because you kind of saw his motivation. Because this kid gets killed, so
right,
you obviously know why he wants to go after Quinn, and it makes sense that they have this rivalry. But obviously, Stavros is a bad guy. I mean, he is a terrorist. But I just thought it just gave him that bit more depth than your average action movie villain. And also, he's jacked in this movie. Mickey Rourke, he's absolutely
he's jacked.
huge. He's a bear in it. So yeah, I liked that as well. You've got the whole emotional thing of his wife thinking Quinn is dead, and then thinks she's gonna have to raise the baby by herself and all this. So
Right.
there is just more to it than your average movie. I mean, yeah, it's not exactly Shakespeare. I hate saying that, but it works perfectly for the type of tale it's telling.
Yeah, and I feel that using the space method, it's a bit more mathematical. So with that is the positives of that is that we're not being too angry at things where
Mhm.
it's like, oh, this movie, screw this, it's stupid. It's like, look, what did you think was going to happen? It's him and Dennis Rodman. This is what I thought was going to happen. Him and Dennis Rodman team up to fight Mickey Rourke, and they'll have a couple of one-line jokes between each other, and that's it. Now that does happen. However, they put a little bit more effort. They're like, let's come up with a couple of other cool things. Mickey Rourke isn't just standard villain. His son does get killed. You're like, oh shit, that's crazy. So you have a little bit of motivation on the villains team. and obviously for Van Damme getting captured and thrown into that think tank, which was sort of like the prisoner, and then he has to escape, and friggin' Belloc is there trying
Yeah.
to, which we'll
Belloc.
get to.
Belloc.
We'll get to that in the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought like, okay, so you're giving it a 1, I'm giving it 1.5. Okay, so that's pretty good.
Just say hello to the guys here. Hey, Brennan, how are you? Haven't seen
Brennan,
you for a
what's
while.
going on, dude?
Severio, I have failed to watch this. So, Severio, have you never seen it before, or have you just not watched it recently? Because you should watch it because
Oh yeah,
it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, so
it's
I would
Van
recommend
Damme,
it. Yeah,
like,
and Mickey Rourke.
and
So
Mickey Rourke is jacked. I remember when I saw this in the theater, I was like, holy shit, this guy's like,
yeah, because wasn't he going through his like boxing phase or something then? Because I know he was like a fighter.
yeah, we hadn't. I felt that we hadn't seen him in a while, but
Yeah.
I like if you know, I know everyone was talking about Dennis Rodman. Obviously, that was the big ticket. You know, oh, he's going to be in this movie. But to me, Mickey Rourke was sort of like one of the selling points because it's like, well, I don't think I've seen him in a while. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man is like one of my friggin' favorite
I
movies.
love that movie.
I
I don't care what
love.
anybody says. It's awesome.
No, it is awesome. I don't know that anyone says it's not, but if they are, I will fight
We
them.
should talk about that soon then. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like it's so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so seeing Mickey Rourke, I was like, wow, this is really cool. I thought he was so cool in this movie. It's just
Oh,
like,
he was. Maybe my favorite walking away from an explosion moment. He's got the sunglasses on and just walks away from the car as it explodes, and I was like, that is so cool. I will never be that cool.
yeah, and we'll talk about that'll be in the artistry section
Oh yeah,
where there's some cool shots like that, right?
yeah.
Oh, so he's never seen. So you've
The,
never seen it. Oh wow.
yeah, it's in my Netflix queue. Yeah, you want to get on that?
Oh,
So
you got to get on there, man.
yeah, it's just good, harmless fun. I mean, yeah. I mean, the dialogue and everything is bad, but that's who cares? But, yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's do the pacing. So I gave the pacing 1.5 out of 2, and the reason I gave it 1.5 out of 2, and not even full 2 out of 2, is that I do feel that there's a couple of repetitive things. Like it's like he goes to see Dennis Rodman, get some weapons, and he goes and he sees him again, and there's like it's not garbage. Like it's still 90 minutes. It's like 92 minutes or
Yeah, it's
something.
93 minutes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So it is fast paced. I was never bored, but I felt that some things got slightly repetitive. Like they were smart in the think tank scenes where they showed you what's going on, they established how it works, and then they quickly montaged Van Damme training, getting his strength back, and then they quickly got
One of
to
my
the
favorite ever training montages.
that's
He
a
lifts up
great
a
training.
bath.
Yeah, lifting up the bath and all that. And they did that, which is always good for pacing. And then they also showed just a couple of scenes of how it worked. But then I did feel that I know they wanted to use Dennis Rodman, but I almost felt like they didn't know how to use him in the middle part. So they're like, well, let's just go back to him again. And Van Damme comes back to him again, and I'm thinking like, you almost look like the same. It's like I almost felt like they shot those two scenes at the same time. They're like, okay, in this scene, you're now coming back after escaping. I'm like, it almost feels like they could have quickened that part up just a little bit, but still 1.5. I mean, it is pretty fast paced. It's not really boring. There's nothing that I would cut
Yeah.
necessarily. Maybe trim a couple of minutes. That's pretty much it. So I don't know where you're at for
Yeah,
pacing.
it's funny, I never even thought of that before whenever you'd mentioned those scenes. But yeah, I would agree with that. I would give it a 1.5 because it's a really fast-paced 93 minutes. I'm never bored. It rarely goes more than a couple of minutes without an action scene, and the action scenes are generally pretty great in it. Yeah, I'm never bored. You get enough time to care about the characters and everything, which we'll get to.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So see, yeah, we're again. So we're so close already, right? Just doing this in a very fair, fair square way.
Yeah. But
So
before
this
you
is
continue,
yeah.
just for anybody who's watching, because I get lots of abuse for this in the group. I hate Facebook. Anyway. But they're like, "How come you gave this review and you gave that this review?" And they sort of compare the movies, and I was like,
It's
"Well, I'm
not
not
fair.
comparing that to this movie. It's a different kind of movie. Every movie is different, unless it's a
Yeah.
remake or something." But like, I have different reasons for why I like one movie and different reasons to why I like or dislike another movie. So whenever you see I gave something 3 stars and I gave that 3.5 or 4 stars, don't think of that. I think, oh, that movie's better than this movie. I just prefer it for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't compare movies like that.
No. Well, my top 10 films include 2001: A Space Odyssey, Army of Darkness, 12 Angry Men, and like Road Warrior. And I wouldn't say that those are, Superman's in there, Empire Strikes Back. I wouldn't say those are all similar. Like 12 Angry Men is a black and white I guess jury room drama.
Great movie, though.
Great movie, yeah, where 12 older men just talk for an hour and 45 minutes. That has nothing to do with Army of Darkness, and that has nothing to do with 2001 or Conan, which is my favorite movie. So none of these movies have anything to do with each other, but I love them for what they're presenting. So the way we talk about movies in the space method, and even as what you do too, is we're comparing it to itself. It's like, I always say that there's a promise. A movie is delivering a promise. The promise of this movie is that Dennis Rodman, big celebrity basketball player, is teaming up with Jean-Claude Van Damme, big superstar action hero. Those two guys are going to team up and fight Mickey Rourke. That's literally so now we're determining how well they delivered on that promise. That's what we're comparing. This idea that, how dare you give Eternals this, and how dare you give Double Team this, is what are you talking about? This has nothing to do with anything else. We can compare other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and say perhaps this one did it better than this one, but we're not going to say Die Hard versus Double Team.
No, because they're different. Right? There's different genres of action, even.
Yeah, like Die Hard is. I mean, that's a 10 out of 10 action film. Maybe one of the best. It is one of the best action films ever made. I would say
it is. That's just a fact. Yeah.
That's and that goes with anyone's scale. But again, we can compare Die Hard 2 to Die Hard 1 perhaps, and weigh those two movies. But Die Hard versus The Road Warrior, I don't even know if I would be doing that comparison, because it's not really the same thing. It doesn't really. You don't get the villains are not very defined in Road Warrior. You're always on Max's side, right? Whereas the villains in Die Hard are characters onto themselves. Like, they're very interesting characters just on their own. So
agreed. Yeah. Well,
okay.
There's
give me back
Charlie.
Matt. Hey, what's going
Charlie,
on, dude?
What's going on? Good to see you back. We're back too. Superior makes sense to me.
Yep, of course. And listen, if Owen is saying something, then it makes sense.
And you as well. It's just logic. So what's next?
Okay, so we're on the artistry. So this is directed by Troy Hark, who did Zoo Warriors from Magic Mountain. That's a kick-ass movie. So here we're going to talk about the look of it, the explosion that you mentioned before with Mickey Rourke walking away from like the explosion, just the shots, the music. I gave this a 1 out of 2, and I couldn't get to 1.5. I almost got to 1.5, and I scratched it out. There's some great shots that you were talking about there with the explosion. There was some dodgy CG
green screen or blue screen with he's falling from the explosion. Yeah, that's awful.
It was awful, and I don't know why they needed it, because they could have accomplished that in a different way. So that was a weird. Yeah. There's some good fights in the beginning. I felt that the final actual fist fight could have been a little bit better. I do like some of the guns, the cool looking guns they had. The amusement park is an interesting place to have a gunfight. The hospital, they came up with interesting locations. The island is neat. It's filmed well, but it just didn't get to that neck. Like, I'm keeping it as a 1 out of 2, which doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it was okay. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because like some of the effects are jarring. They do not hold up. I even remember in the theater at the time watching it. I mean, my brother, it's the scene whenever there's the attack on the house and he's jumping like over the swimming pool or something, and it just looks so fake. And I remember going, "Oh, I feel myself going red watching this."
Like, why? Yeah, and they didn't need to use those. I don't know why they.
I know, it was so annoying because you have other great scenes. Like, you have the fight in the hotel where he's fighting now. Is it Xin Jong? If I pronounced that correctly,
the guy who's got the
knife, and the way he jumps up and flips the slippers off.
Yes, and we'll talk about the characters next too. But yeah, that was a great fight.
But that's my favorite scene, is that hotel fight in holding the knife with the feet. That was awesome. And then you have Mickey Rourke, maybe one of the best bad guy deaths of the 90s. It's quite awesome. I'll play that at the end. But yeah, it's just so ridiculously over the top. I mean, the movie generally is ridiculous, and the set pieces are, but that's kind of why we like it. In terms of artistry, the music, I quite like the score. It's not especially memorable, but there's a theme tune there. Interesting enough, Gary Chang does the score. He did the music to Death Warrant as well, the other Van Damme movie. So, and he also did Under Siege. So yeah, the music was fine. I kind of like the opening scene in the truck. I thought that was quite cool as
Yep.
well. So
Yeah, that was cool in
mm,
Croatia or whatever they were. Yeah.
smashes through the wall and everything. So that's cool. You can never go wrong with big trucks smashing through things. Um, so yeah, I would agree with that. I'd say a one. Yeah, the
Yep.
jarring special effects are the biggest problem.
Yeah. And like, oh, I'm so close to 1.5 again because of you just mentioned some other points too. It's tough. We'll have a chance to kind of go back and
Hmm.
because it's different once we talk it out, and then we can go back and just do a quick review to make sure we're still. I'm marking down where we're at.
Oh,
So
good. That somebody is.
yeah. Okay, so the characters. So this is going to be. I'm.
Yeah,
Ooh, I was.
this is the longer one.
Yeah, I was torn on this one too. I had 1.5. I moved it back to 1.
Yeah, I'd say one.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm saying 1. My thing about this is that look, Van Damme. I just love Van Damme anyways.
Yeah,
Mickey Rourke is awesome. Dennis Rodman
is
is
not.
very hit and miss.
Yeah,
Most of the jokes fall flat.
yeah.
Now I know he's a basketball player. That's about all I know. I don't know anything about sports. I literally watch archery and sumo, which is like that's the only thing in sports that I watch. And I just found the basketball jokes to be very like
Forced. Yeah.
forced, and I think they're so forced that someone watching now, let's say some kid, my let's say my 3-year old nephew grows up, and when he's like 30, and I'm going to show him this movie, and he'll be like, why are they doing these random jokes? Like he won't know Dennis Rodman, you know what I mean? And it's like they don't hold up well. I don't think they're that funny. I don't understand why his character would even join up with Van Damme
No.
really. I don't know. I couldn't get by like I didn't hate him. I'm still giving it a 1. I'm not
Mm.
dinging it because we have other cool one shot guys like the guy which I don't know, I can't pronounce his name, with the knife foot. Like
Yeah.
he's got a switchblade in his or he's got
Toes.
like in
Yeah.
his toes. I'm like, this is neat, right? That's a neat
That's new. I
character.
haven't seen it before.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen that. We've got a tiger now who's like a character because the tiger actually knows who to attack. Like it literally attacks certain people.
That's a
Like
well-trained tiger. Yeah, it's just chases after everybody.
yeah. So that's really cool. I'm trying to see what other notes I put here. His wife I thought was a bit silly. She wasn't very smart. I thought.
No. She was
What
just there
else?
just to be rescued, really. That was it. She was a bit one note,
Yeah,
definitely.
I didn't like that Van Damme. Maybe I could save this for my enjoyment as one of my dings. Yeah, I'll save that for my enjoyment. The final fight was like Mickey Rourke was cool in that fight. Like he was talking a big game, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
Mhm.
like I'll give you a chance, and if you don't make it, I'm gonna raise your kid and all that." So I
Mhm.
thought that was kind of really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, the best character is Mickey Rourke in it.
Yeah,
I think Stavros is definitely the most interesting character. Dennis Rodman is not an actor. He was
no,
horrible. Like, just every scene with him is mostly painful.
yeah,
But you could almost add to artistry his outfits, though. Like, just flamboyant was the perfect word
right.
for him. It just looked, it was very 90s. And yeah, I mean, that part and like the script generally just doesn't hold up. I mean, the script is mostly terrible, but that's kind of why I like it at the same time. It's just,
Yeah,
it's kind of awfully good. Um, but yeah, I mean, even Quinn, Van Damme's character, I love Van Damme from Van Damme, but he's not an especially interesting character himself. Quinn, there's no real
right,
personality there. Van Damme was just kind of sleepwalking through it. But that was during his dark period, I
right.
think.
What about Renee Belloc?
Oh yes, Belloc. Yeah, I mean, for one thing, why has he never been in more movies? I've only ever seen him in like 2 or 3 movies, and he was great. Belloc's one of my favorite characters in a movie.
Oh, he is fantastic. Bury it in the sand for 1,000 years, it becomes priceless.
Uh-huh. And the guy ate a fly when it was like in his mouth, and he didn't even notice when it crawled into his mouth.
Yeah,
Um,
anytime you get 4K stuff, because I got those. Anytime you get 4K stuff, you're like, oh, now I'm noticing all these weird things that I never noticed before. I never noticed any of that on VHS or whatever when you watch it
I
a couple
know
times
you see
over.
it so clearly. Yeah. So just catch up with some of these comments here. So
Yep,
my reviews changed so much after talk. Yeah, I mean, I hate. I actually hate giving star ratings to things.
I know.
I wish I hadn't sort of done that because it's so hard. Because sometimes I watch a movie if I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, that sucked. 2 stars or whatever. And then I watch it again. And I was like, oh, it was all right. So do I change the review? Do I delete the website and move to Poland and change the name?
Oh man, I've got some bad ones.
Yeah.
Like I gave like some movies like a rave review just because I was excited, and then I'm like, this isn't that. I remember Independence Day I thought was great, and then I watched it again. I'm like, this movie's very boring. Like,
it's only the first 40 minutes good, where you've got the build up and then the destruction, and then after that you're like, where do you go? Yeah. So much love from the UK. I'm from the UK. I'm from Scotland, but I now live in Canada. So there we go. The explosion scene at the end, how it could blast down concrete walls, but not the Coke machine, baffled me though. It's like I got to get vending machines like that because they just prevent explosions.
It's part of the fun.
It's action movie logic. That's the thing. You're like, I know it's bollocks, but who cares?
So I'm sorry. Did you give it a 1?
I'd go for
or less.
Yeah, 1. I was nearly going to be 0.5. 0.5 and 1.5. Yeah.
So 0.5.
Dennis Rodman's horrible.
Yeah, so 0.5. Okay.
Yeah.
So 0.5. All right.
Best thing about his work.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Okay, and then for the enjoyment, so now this is where logic gets thrown out the window. Forget about whatever, this is just like, did you think this was a fun movie? Did you really enjoy it anyways, despite the flaws and whatever mathematical things we came up with? I'm going to give it a 1 because I do enjoy it, but it's not my go-to Van Damme. I probably wouldn't put it in the top 10 Van Dammes, I would think. I don't know. I'd have to think about that, but I don't think it would make the top 10.
It wouldn't for me. No, it's not one of my favorite. I mean, it is not a great movie. I'm not going to pretend it's a great movie. I enjoy it for what it is, but it is definitely very flawed. I mean, there are some funny lines like, "With this, I could shoot the dick off a hummingbird." I'm like, what?
and like, this is the first line of dialogue that this character is given where she just meets Van Damme, and
it's the only line of dialogue she said.
It's like, what is happening here? I gotta ask you, were you bothered that Van Damme was in that homeless man outfit for the entire last action bit? I'm like,
he just looks so gross, and that horrible wig he was wearing, everything earlier. And I was like, what was up with that outfit?
He's got those baggy pants and the weird like fur.
Yeah,
I was like, you couldn't have given him a better final action suit. It's
almost just like they flicked the hair back and sticking out a cigar and said, "Really, Alex."
I thought there was a lot of cheese lines. Yeah.
But the script is awful. Yeah. Although I don't want to hear about your sex life.
Oh my god. Whoever had dialogue in the first 20 minutes was awful. All of those other
there's the American actor, the guy who's like, "Jack, you gotta come back in," and it's just the delivery is awful. And I was like, he's one who gets blown up in the car anyway, thank God, but he's terrible.
Yeah, it's like Tommy Wiseau acting. You're like,
you're tearing me apart, Lisa.
You're tearing me apart, Van Damme. You're tearing me apart, Quinn. Quinn, please. Quinn. Yeah. I gave it a 1 for some of the cheesiness.
Yeah.
Just like some of the just to have Dennis Rodman show up and be weird is, I guess, some kind of a novelty. But like,
it's the weirdest team up maybe ever in an action movie. Like in buddy movies, you're like, there's no chemistry between the two of them. You don't really get the feeling they're friends or anything. You're just like, Dennis Rodman's just this weird guy who helps him out for no reason.
And like, how does he he's a very unrealistic character. I know these movies are supposed to be kind of fun and a bit tongue-in-cheek sometimes, but he doesn't seem like a realistic person. Like, would this person have this arsenal, like, and be this arms dealer guy? It doesn't feel like, anytime you see these arms dealer guys, like, they're pretty rough individuals that care about nothing but literally money because they're selling death.
Yeah.
Right? And more often than not, villains. I know they tried to kind of paint this over and grayscale it a little bit. Well, he goes, I don't deal with bad guys anymore. Well, you did in the past, so you're a criminal. Like, right? They glossed that over very. He goes, don't you sell guns to anybody? He's like, not anymore. I only sell guns to the good guys. Well, why did the good guys need to buy guns from you? Don't they get them manufactured from the government or whatever? It just seemed weird. I just didn't believe that character would be who that character was. So
true. Although you've definitely overthought that more than I have.
Yeah, I did.
Just to get just on deadly ground. But why would you do this?
I'm like I'm the killer of stuff. Like, don't talk to me if you want to get into the overthinking. Then you can.
I didn't like what that extra did in the background in that one scene.
Yeah, why is he wearing a tie? Because this in this environment, everyone's wearing a t-shirt. Why would he not?
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any
One
sense.
star.
1 star. So I'm at a 1 out of 2 for enjoyment. What would you say?
I would say that too. Yeah, it's not one I watch that often. I think around about that period, the best film was Maximum Risk. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one, and that was a genuinely good movie. Whereas this is sort of a guilty pleasure, sue me, I like double team kind of thing,
Right.
where you'll watch it, have a few drinks, and that's about it. J-Man crushes happiness.
I do. I actually do. And I've actually, there's a few people at work now. There's one guy, his name is Matt, at work, coworker. He's like, don't talk to Jason about movies. He's like, I was so excited to go see, I can't remember what it was. I think it was, what was it? It was Spider-Man, which I actually really loves No Way Home. I actually loved No Way Home. But prior to seeing it, he's like, I was so excited about Spider-Man. He talked to me, and I pointed out like 14 like plot inconsistencies and mistakes that can. And he's like, "Oh man, you killed that movie."
It's like you can't unsee it, and that's the problem. Once you say these things, I'm like, that's all I see now.
I know, I'm really bad for it too, and I'm not trying to because I want to. The problem with me is that like I'll say all these bad things, and then I bought the poster for Double Team. I bought on VHS. I bought on DVD. I don't know if I have the Blu-ray, but it's like I'm saying all these negative points, but then I love it anyways, right? And that's my thing.
Just because we love Van Damme, and that's the thing. I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe there's no logic here. I just enjoy it because it's a fast moving 90 minutes of people being punched in the face and things blowing up, and that's what I like seeing.
Yeah. So okay. So here's where we're at total. So you've given this movie. I ruined Ghostbusters. I did ruin Ghostbusters.
You did ruin Ghostbusters.
I apologize for that. But I can't.
I still quite enjoyed it though.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You prevented me buying it. I was going to buy it. And I watched your video and I was like, I can't disagree with anything. So, damn it, no, I'm not going to buy it. I was like, fuck this movie.
I didn't buy it either. I'll probably will get it. Yeah, it's just, oh gosh. Okay, well, we don't want to. We won't
go into the Ghostbusters.
So you've given this movie a final score of 5 out of 10, and
Probably
I've given it a 6 out of 10.
We've definitely been generous.
So I gave it a 6 out of 10. You've given it a 5 out of 10. So we're pretty close. I'm very close to saying 5.5 out of 10 because I do think that some of the story elements that you pointed out, plus with some of the Dennis Rodman
basketball stuff, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, might detract from the story because it's like, who is this character?
Yeah.
I will get it eventually.
So I'll get the box set.
Yeah. So do you think that, so let's just say we didn't do the space style review and you gave it a 5 out of 10, would that have been an accurate, in your mind, would that be?
I think so, because I think I did a review on the site and I think I gave it like 2.5 out of 5. So it's average. So that's pretty much the thing. Is sort of like, yeah, or below average. It's, it's fine. It's lower tier Van Damme, but it's not as bad as like Derailed, which is probably his worst film.
I gotta watch that one again. I don't think I minded that one I think there was one that I didn't like. I can't remember which one I didn't like more. But Van Damme's got charm to him, so I kind of...
Yeah, because he's in it, then that's the main thing, yeah.
Right, so see, I went a little bit higher because Van Damme, but I would, like, if I say 6 out of 10, that's pretty good. I'd probably maybe say 5.5. If thinking it over again... Would you change any of your scores? So you gave a 1 for the story. I think I might give it a 1 for the story because after talking about it, I would maybe go back and give it a 1. So I'd be at 5.5 out of 10. I think I'd be okay with that, which sounds like pretty good to me. I don't know if you would want to change anything. I think you're right. Like, we agreed on enjoyment.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. It's fine. It's the script is so bad, and Dennis Rodman is terrible in it. To this day I've never watched Simon Says, the other movie he did, which I think I need to watch. I feel like we should maybe do a show on that at some point.
God, I mean, I could take it because I could take cheese.
Yeah, so now, yeah, I mean, I love watching stuff like that. The worse the movie is, the more I enjoy it, to be honest.
I mean, I don't even believe in the so bad it's good because I got enjoyment out of it. I'm looking for net enjoyment, right? Like, it's like I watched it, I enjoyed it. Even like, we won't turn this into the Batman, but the Batman, I gave it low and I moved it up to 5 out of 10 for the Batman, which is crazy talk. But I've already bought the soundtrack. I bought every toy that came out in Walmart. I have like all the
Which was the best
figures,
thing
the
about it.
Batmobile. I got like, it's like I'm gonna buy it on 4K and I'm gonna watch it a bunch of times. And the thing is, for me, for superhero movies, like I've watched Batman and Robin like 100 times. I know all the dialogue, and that's a pretty rubbish movie.
Mm.
But because it's Batman, I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
same. Yeah.
so even when people say they love, like I've had people say they love Batman Begins, I'm like, okay, well I saw it 3 times in the theater. I've watched it 100 times. I have the soundtrack.
Mhm.
It's like your love of it, might even equal my like of it. So if I just say, oh, I like Batman Begins, it was okay,
That's my
which
favorite Batman movie.
it is the best out of definitely the new ones for sure.
Yeah.
My favorite's 89 and Returns.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, we'll go back to Van Damme in a second
yeah,
because
just say
I have literally haven't seen you since actually watching the Batman. But it's the only Batman film I've watched once in the theater. I've always wanted to go see them a bunch of times, and I'm like, 3 hours, fuck off! I'm not going to sit there. I have to pee.
yeah.
And yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to ruin Batman for people, but there is a lot of mistakes.
uh,
So I don't want to go get into Batman right
no, we
now.
won't. We'll do that one a future show at some point. Maybe talk about the best and worst Batman or something. But uh, anyway, back to Van Damme. So Choi Hark also directed Knockoff as well. So versus Double Team versus Knockoff, which do you think is better?
I think I like Knockoff better.
I still think I would agree. Maybe even with
um,
Rob Schneider in it.
yeah, Rob Schneider's a bit cheese, but the thing is that I found that some of his stuff wasn't as bad as Rodman's stuff. Um, I don't know. Knockoff was the last Van Damme movie that was kind of a real Van Damme movie that I saw in the theater. JCVD is a freaking terrific film.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that in the theater, but we saw that at like an art house theater, not the big
Yeah,
like in
it's not a
Canada.
Van Damme action movie. Yeah.
Right, yeah, like it's not really about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fantastic movie. You got the hat. It's great.
Yeah.
But Knockoff was the last one I saw where it was like a big bombastic Van Damme, and I liked Knockoff actually. I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't like it when I first watched it back in the day. And I remember thinking Rob Schneider's annoying.
Yeah,
And then actually I met Rob Schneider and he was actually really nice and cool in real life. And it sort of changed whenever I watch him. And I'm sort of like, he's actually a super nice guy. So I didn't find him annoying. And when I watched Knockoff, I was like, there's my pal, Rob. So
it matters.
it does. Yeah, whenever you
It
actually meet the
matters.
person and they're not actually annoying, you're just this nice, smiley guy. So, and the action's good. The stuff on the ship at the end with him sliding
That's
all
cool.
over. That's innovative. And that's the thing Troy Hark was always good at doing is coming up with just innovative new action scenes. And isn't it about exploding pants?
Yeah, which is great. It's like it's like
It's my
fake
worst
pants and
nightmare.
purses and stuff, and fake
Yeah,
purse ninjas from Bowfinger.
that's right. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'd probably go knockoff. What do you guys think in the chat? Knockoff or double team? And while you guys are debating with yourselves, I hope they do Court of Owls storyline for a sequel at some point. Yes, I would rather they do that next, and I think that I've heard that they are going to do that because I got to be honest, I don't give a shit about seeing the Joker again. The deleted Joker scene, I was like, well, I can't understand anything he's saying anyway. And I found that with the movie a lot anyway, that I just, because I have the hearing aid, when people are just like whispering all the time, it's like, what are you saying? I need subtitles.
Yeah,
So,
I watched 1 minute of that scene and turned it off. I
yeah.
absolutely despise it. It's garbage.
Yeah, I was
He
like, yeah,
looks like
please don't do
crap.
that. Yeah, and I do not want to see the Joker in this one. I was like, well, Joker's been done to death. Do something new. Do fucking Clayface. I love
I
Clayface. I
know.
want to see him.
See, they won't do it because Matt Reeves is stuck in this gritty,
There's a
realistic.
gritty realism. It's about a guy dressing up as a bat for crying out loud. There's nothing
Right.
realistic
There's
about
nothing realistic about it. No more Joker or Catwoman. Yeah, I'm done with
it.
Catwoman.
Agreed.
Really,
So Charlie says knock off. Yeah,
knock
I mean that
off.
was the thing.
Yeah.
Catwoman didn't even need to be in that movie.
Right.
You could have done it and then done a shorter movie. The best thing about the Batman was Carmine Falcone. John
Yeah.
Turturro, he was amazing. Just with the sunglasses on all the time, he made sunglasses scary.
He was awesome. Oh, he's a great actor,
Yeah, he
anyways.
is.
So he's just like amazing. Yeah.
You know. So anything else to do with Double Team or Van
Let me see.
Damme?
I'll look through my notes see if there's any
Yeah,
other
let's
things
see.
we missed.
And does anybody have any movies they would like us to cover, either movies or franchises in future shows? Because we want to try getting back to do this weekly, preferably on a Friday night or some other night. but Friday night's best for me.
Friday night works for me too because I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays sometimes too. So I keep adding. And
Yeah.
you're always welcome to come to any of those if you find the
Okay.
topic of interest.
Yeah, and I'm always sort of keeping an eye out. I'm like, okay, I don't really know what that is. Don't know what that is.
Yeah, the Saturday one, basically the Tuesday one is the women of wrestling, so that's just Steven and I, and the Thursday one is just Sean and I talking about 90s comics, so it's a bit dry unless you're into
Yeah, so I
comics.
don't know either of them.
But Saturday is the loose one where it's like Moon Knight or whatever came out, stuff like that. So you're always welcome to those.
Yeah.
No
Fridays work great. We always record on Thursdays. Okay, Charlie, if you're interested in joining us at some point, you're welcome to come on, because it'd be fun to actually meet you and shoot the shit and talk action movies. So,
what about that finger guy who was dancing with the fingers? Remember that? And then,
oh yeah, and Double Team, yeah,
yeah, I'm
the little dancing. I love that scene. It's so weird.
Yeah, it was so weird.
That's the thing about the movie. I wanted to always say this, and I always forget to say it, is that it's such an un-American feeling movie. It's very European with the Hong Kong style, and I just thought it just feels very different from what you usually see in like an American action picture.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's Troy Hark. The feel it's different no matter what anybody says. Like when you have these Asian directors that are like huge in Hong Kong, you bring them over, they're gonna add something different. And Van Damme was the innovator of that big time. He was like I don't want to say for sure because I don't know for sure. I didn't research it, but like John Woo coming over. And we're just like, holy shit, John Woo's coming over. Like, we didn't know, because Hard Boiled's like one of my freaking, Hard Boiled's my favorite.
Oh, it's a perfect action movie.
It's perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Die Hard. It's like, if you did the top 10, it's like Die Hard, Road Warrior, Hard Boiled, right? Like, these are all like your top action movies. And yeah, so him coming over, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then Hard Target's like a masterpiece,
Oh,
right?
of course, yeah. It's funny, speaking of the Road Warrior, so I did a review the other day. I recently got the Mad Max anthology on 4K, and Stephen had warned me about this in advance. He said that the audio wasn't great. I didn't notice the audio was fine. There's no special features. The Road Warrior had like a behind the scenes and a commentary. That was it. The other movies, including Mad Max Fury Road, no special features, no black and chrome edition or whatever else. I paid $80 for that, and I had to return it once because the Road Warrior stopped 53 minutes into it, so I had to return it and get it back. So. Yeah, if you own the Mad Max movies on DVD or Blu-ray, just keep them because the 4K is not worth your time. As much as I enjoyed watching them, I've never really appreciated them as much as I did this watch, though. Like the first two, I'd forgotten how good they were. Like the first movie, I'd never really appreciated until recently, and I was like, this is actually a really good, tight 90 minutes. So I enjoyed that. Road Warrior is still the best. Beyond Thunderdome sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks. It's so boring.
I love Thunderdome.
I like the beginning and the end, but the middle with the kids, I'm just like.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. The thing for me is we should do a Mad Max. I love Thunderdome. I actually had Thunderdome as my favorite for a while, and then I was like,
that'll be one for future chat. Then
we'll do a future chat on that. Yes, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. But yeah, what was? Name the time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll do one soon. So I know. Franklin has been pestering me for ages to do a Chuck Norris one, so he's going to join us at some point. So, will we maybe do like a Chuck Norris one next Friday then?
Which Chuck Norris? Because I mean, like,
I'm trying to think which one.
I was only own like 5 or 6, I think.
I was going to say maybe the Missing in Action trilogy.
Yeah, if you want to, we can maybe figure that. Yeah, Missing in Action.
So I'll see what
the Friday after next, because I'd like to rewatch those.
I know. I need to rewatch them too. Okay, we'll do that the week after next. I'll see if he's available and see what that's like, and then so for next, what we do next Friday then?
I don't know. We can do. I mean, we could do a teaser and do like Invasion USA or something if you want to have like a teaser leading up to it. But like, what else is there?
Invasion USA is my favorite Chuck Norris one. Why don't we just do Invasion USA next Friday then? Because we've seen that. I'm just going to watch that, and then I'll see.
Watch that right now.
Yeah, I could watch that on repeat. It's time to die.
Somebody requested this, and I was going to bring this up to you. I don't want to put you on the spot, but somebody had asked me if we would do a commentary for movies, because they do that now, and they just put a commentary on YouTube.
I would love to do that, actually. If
Yeah, I
it's
think
finding the time, I'm just going to quit my job.
I know I can't do my day job. I
I
told
know a
my
day
wife
job just
this.
gets in the way, and
I
it's like
can't
all I
do
want to
it.
do. Yeah, it's like all I want to do is watch old action movies and play retro video games. That's it.
Yeah. Like I literally don't have time. I
Yeah,
don't have time to do my day job. I've got to read like
I
20
know.
freaking like
There's stuff
10
to do.
Batman comics came out last week. I got to read all these.
Okay, so Charlie could do Invasion. Okay, so Charlie, you want to join us next Friday then, and then we'll get Franken, or maybe just have the four of us, because I know Stephen isn't a big Chuck Norris guy, so we'll have Stephen and Sean back in the next few weeks to do other things. But also, I've got to give a shout out to Retro Serial and Thrash Pondo Pawns. So please subscribe to them on YouTube. They're awesome guys, and they had me on their show last week, and we just talked to Gen X action movies and things like that, and they really just got me interested in coming back to doing this again, because to be honest, I kind of got bored, and we've all had various health issues over the past few months and everything, where I've had trouble speaking and whatever because of stupid hernia, but I've got under control now, so that's fine. So
Not a
yeah,
kidney stone.
yeah, I mean, we're falling apart here. And shout out to John Jerva, if you're watching this, John. Hope you're feeling better soon. He's got surgery on Monday, so hope that goes well. And he's going to be coming back soon with Inelect 2 in the next few weeks. So
Awesome, man. We miss you, John. You're a cool guy, dude.
yeah, so we'll see you soon. So okay, on my wood shop, action movies all day. See, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, my day job is. In fact, no, I'm not going to actually finish that sentence because I make it fired. So never mind. I just if it's quiet, then I can do my real job, which is fine. But yeah, okay. So I think Invasion USA then next Friday night.
Oh my god!
Don't fuck with the Chuck. Everyone should know that. So
Don't fuck with the Chuck marathon.
oh yes, yeah. That's basically that's what we should call this. Don't fuck with the Chuck marathon. There we go. We'll do Invasion USA next Friday, and then the Missing in Action trilogy the week after.
Wow,
Hell
that's
yes.
exciting.
Right, we'll do that then. Cool. All right. Well,
Awesome.
I think that pretty much wraps it up for Double Team. Does anybody else have anything they wish to ask about it? All I want is one of those vending machines, those invincible vending machines,
Yeah, that's what
which could prevent you from being blown up. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been nice to be back. Really enjoyed it. And we'll see you all next week for some Chuck Norris goodness. And we will see you then. Take care.